What turns a forgotten princess into a name that haunts mirrors and echoes through the dark? Years ago, in the land of England, a girl was born whose name would forever be stained with blood in history. Her name was Mary, a princess whose fate was woven from the very beginning with betrayal, pain, and revenge. Her father, Henry VIII, the powerful King of England, cast aside his wife, Catherine of Aragon, to marry another woman. In the midst of this, Mary, their only child, was stripped of her royal status and reduced to a disgraced and forgotten daughter. Her father declared her illegitimate, took away all her privileges, and sent her to distant castles. While others celebrated, Mary grew up in isolation, filled with anger, scarred by wounds that would never heal. But the wheel of fate kept turning. The king's new wife, Anne Boleyn, met the very end that Mary had wished for all those years. Her neck fell beneath the executioner's blade. After her, other wives came and went, some through divorce, others through death. But Mary remained on the margins of power. Years passed, and with her father's death, England plunged into turmoil. After her brother, Edward VI, died, the throne was contested by many. But Mary, who had waited her entire life for this moment, finally claimed her right. After a brief struggle, she was crowned queen in 1553. But the forgotten girl of yesterday was no longer innocent. Having grown up amidst betrayal and pain, she knew no mercy. She was determined to cleanse England of Protestant influence, and for that, she saw no other path but fire and death. Hundreds, including religious leaders, were burned alive during her reign. The streets of London bore daily witness to hangings, beheadings, and the torture of those who refused to follow her faith. The smell of burning flesh, the echoing screams, none of it mattered to her. The people whispered among themselves, "Bloody Mary, a queen with a heart of stone, a queen who found peace only in blood." But even she could not escape a power greater than her own. Desperate to secure her throne, Mary showed signs of pregnancy. Her belly swelled, her cycles stopped, and she even claimed to feel the baby move. The people of England rejoiced, expecting the birth of a royal heir. But as months passed, no child was born. The doctors were baffled, and Mary herself was terrified. Then, suddenly, her belly shrank. A strange silence fell over England. Whispers spread. "This is a curse. Mary is cursed." Some claimed she had turned to witches and was now paying the price. Others believed she had suffered from a rare condition, phantom pregnancy, where the mind, under extreme emotional strain, tricks the body into displaying symptoms of pregnancy. Whatever the truth, this event marked the beginning of her downfall. Her body weakened, her spirit darkened, and in 1558, amid delusions, pain, and fear, she died. But this was not the end. Centuries passed, yet the name Bloody Mary was never forgotten. Some say her furious spirit still roams this world. A legend began to spread, first whispered among families, then turning into a real terror. If you stand before a mirror at midnight, in the dark, and say Bloody Mary's name 3 times, she will appear. At first, it seemed like nothing more than a childhood game. But those who dared to perform the ritual told horrifying tales. Some claimed to have seen a woman in the mirror, with hollowed eyes, a bloody face, and a grin that stretched too far. Others disappeared, and those who returned were never the same. During the Victorian era, a ritual became popular in which young girls would gaze into a darkened mirror, hoping to glimpse the face of their future husband. But in some cases, what appeared was not a young man, but a dreadful woman in a royal red gown. Her face was shadowed, Her eyes were black, and her lips were stained with blood. From that moment on, belief in the legend only grew stronger. Bloody Mary was no longer just the name of a queen in history. It became a name whispered in the dead of night, lurking in the shadows. In the old castles of England, in the Tower of London and Hampton Court, witnesses have reported seeing a woman in a crimson royal dress wandering the dark corridors. But what about you? Do you dare to stand before the mirror tonight, in the stillness of the night, and whisper her name 3 times? Subscribe and support Heavenly Stories for more haunting tales.